Okay, hi, my name is Christina, and today we're going to be talking about e-waste and how e-waste and recycling and exportation should be prohibited to be exported outside of the U.S. And e-waste, a bit of background information, we all have seen it. It's basically electronic waste such as batteries, broken computers, cell phones, electronic hardware, your little software chips that break out, broken iPhone screens. And so according to a segment from 60 Minutes, about 130,000 computers are thrown out every day in the USA. And that is a lot of computers. And not only that, but let's count up all the other electronics that we own. Everyone's had at least, let's say 3 to 5 cell phones by now. And in 2005 alone, 4 billion pounds of e-waste was tossed out of the U.S. So that is a lot. And I'm going to start off with my first claim by saying that there are no safety regulations in the developing countries that the U.S. exports this electronic waste to. So an article from the Duke School of Environment says that due to increased safety regulations in Western countries, such as the U.S. itself, it's about 10 times cheaper to export e-waste to developing countries where workers get really low wage for it, and it's just a lot more. It makes more economical sense to export it, but it doesn't make. It's not very good in terms of safety, and also. Some facts from eStewards.org, it states that when these developing countries receive e-waste, they tend to burn it because they don't have the technology that more advanced countries like the U.S. have in order to properly dispose of these. And therefore, these developing countries cause toxins to be released into the air. And it's also because there's not enough value held in e-waste to cover the costs of managing it safely. So when it's exported outside of the country, the legal framework is too weak to protect the environment and its workers and the communities surrounding the area. And these safety regulations, because there are basically none in these developing countries, and the crude ways that they dispose of the e-waste, it's been studied that e-waste is also linked to a number of diseases, one such as cardiovascular disease and DNA damage, even cancer, according to researchers from the Institute of Physics. These researchers have exposed samples of lung cells to the air from e-waste recycling areas, and the results showed that the exposure to this air and the pollutants in it has caused molecular mutations within the cells. So I'm going to move on to my next claim, which are the environmental issues regarding exportation of this e-waste. For one, e-waste is not biodegradable like many natural products because it contains harmful toxins such as beryllium, which is also linked to lung cancer, and therefore e-waste would take centuries to degrade, and that does clutter the environment and pollute it. And also, the amount of this e-waste, it only represents 2% of trash in American landfills, but 70% overall toxic waste in landfills outside of the country. And in these developing countries, recycling is often hand done by children for low wages or inexperienced workers. And once again, this is cause of lack of regulation within these countries and the pollution. And so, another claim, e-waste is more likely better to be kept within the U.S. rather than exporting it out of the U.S. because essentially it's sending our pollution to pollute another country. And by keeping it in the U.S., according to the Government Accountability Office, we can curb harmful environmental impacts and create recycling jobs at home. which would only benefit our country. And a quote by Barbara Kyle, a national coordinator of Electronics Take Back Coalition, says that by building more advanced electronic technology, we need advanced ways of taking them apart. And like the US would be a country that could do that because we are technologically advanced more so than, say, like third world countries like in Africa or India. And they cannot accomplish this. As well as just the global volumes of computer e-waste and electronic e-waste, it will triple in tons by 2025, and developing countries will not be able to handle such an amount, and therefore it will just keep cluttering, and by keeping it within the country, we'll be able to prevent that.